All right. Well, welcome to Passion, Purpose, Paycheck. I love the tagline, how to find a career that makes you happy, fits your life, and gets you paid. And this is our very first coaching call. And it's the very first time that Passion, Purpose, Paycheck is being taught in this format. I have taught this sequence and taken, many, many people through the sequence, and I know the sequence works, but I've never done it with the online group and with you have the modules to kind of back up your learning and reinforce what you're getting. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to lay the groundwork for how we'll be working together. And there'll be a time where I'll invite you to speak up, and we'll introduce, okay? So first, I'm going to kind of just give you an overview of the program. So this is day one. And as I said, this is actually the culmination of 37 years of my work. And just so you know, in the beginning, people wanted to make changes, and I searched for the tools to help them because a lot of the tools that you're given at your basic level postmasters don't always help people make that leap to change. You have a lot of good communication tools and listening tools and helping people sort of sort things out inside themselves, but that you don't always have a toolbox to actually help people with techniques and strategies and all the things that really are things where when you put them into action, you'll make the changes. So it's been 37 years, the journey, but over those years, as I collected the tools, I started to experiment putting them in different orders, right? And I've honed this sequence of steps so that it gets you the quickest from where you are now to where you want to be. And again, I have done this not just with career issues, but with many other issues. We're going to make it specific to career, and there are pieces of this program that are really only for career. But just know that if you're here and you're thinking, well, I'd like to have a better relationship, or I'd like, to be more healthy, or I'd like to do better with my finances, or something in your life. If there's a change somewhere else in your life, the sequence of what you'll be learning here and the exercises that you'll be doing, you can apply to those areas of your life. So it's pretty exciting when you think about it that way. All right. So I want you to think about, so we have the modules, and raise your hand if you were able to listen to at least, I think only module 1 is available right now. Has anyone listened yet? Okay, Krista's listened, Tanya's listened. And did you get a chance to listen?
How do you access the modules?
Okay, you should have been sent a password. No?
Oh, maybe.
Okay, yeah, and whitelist my email, because I don't know, for some reason, when it goes to more than one person, sometimes it goes into spam, or promotions. So check your email. Okay. Let me know if you didn't. But module 1 is it just sets sort of the framework. But and Georgina, were you able to look at module 1 yet?
I have not, but I will. That's what Fridays are for.
That's great. And I'm not worried about you, because you know the program pretty well. So cool. Awesome. All right. So the modules are there to it's kind of like reading a book. If you read a book one time, you get one perspective. If you read it another time, you pick up more. Watching a movie, right? So the modules are there to introduce you to the concepts and to reinforce the learning. Okay. And then these calls, I want you to think of me like I'm kind of like a tour guide. I can point various things out for you, and tell you where to look. But you're on the journey, right? You're on the journey. We're on the journey together. I'm I'm the guide. I'm the person out in the front. Obviously I'm the expert, but I want you to think of this as something that is not passive at all. All right. This is an active program. So think of me as your tour guide. And I'd like to kind of just let you know, I also think of this, I always put it in perspective of a hero's journey. The hero always starts out hearing the call. You heard the call, and that's why you're here. And the call was, there's something inside me that is ready for something more. And there's something that I feel I could have, I could grow myself. Now, typically people used to come like, there's something wrong in my life, right? And it doesn't have to be that there's something wrong, but it could be that the hero feels like a little bit like, okay, I've been here for a while. It's time to go. It's time to go to that next place. So it really is a hero's journey. You're the hero of your own journey. And think of me, I love this definition. I don't know if it was Martin Luther King who came up with it or Joseph Campbell, but when you go on a hero's journey, you're going to meet companions, and you're going to meet the saboteur, which we'll be talking about. But I want you to think of all of us on this journey. We're your spiritual companions. So you've got spiritual, that spirit behind you. And again, we'd have to look it up and see if it was Martin Luther King or Joseph Campbell, but you're on the journey with companions. So that is the power of this program, okay? It's not just you on your own trying to figure this out. So we've got Lauren coming, great. So it's not just you on your own trying to figure it out. You've got spiritual companionship. I'm the tour guide, and it's an active participation. And we'll talk about not only the spiritual companions that you'll meet, but the saboteurs. Because when you go on this hero's journey, you always, think about the movies, right? You go to a movie, Star Wars, there's always what we call the bad guys, right? There's always the obstacles. So you're going to be meeting them. And the power of the program will be building the toolbox that you need to navigate that journey. All right, so it's an 8-week journey. Let me just mention, I hold a high bar for you. So the job of a coach is, if you've ever had coaching, it's a bit different than therapy. I'm a therapist by training and by years and years of practice, but in coaching, we really hold a high bar, and my job is to see you as definitely capable of getting to the result. Okay, so I hold that I hold that you are creative, resourceful, and whole. So there's nothing broken about you, even though sometimes we walk around saying, what's wrong with me? So you're creative. We're coming from this place of, it's an assumption, right? That we have the answers inside. That's the creativity. It's going to be bursting through in a new way. But you're creative, you're resourceful, and you're whole. So I hold this bar for you that you will succeed at what it is that you want. So that's important. It's an 8-week journey. I'm going to be sending you a few additional things, bonuses that we put in the program. And the first bonus is the 5 steps to pivot to a career you love. Even if you don't have a clue or you think it's too late. I think I had a tagline for that one too. But we just, it was a program where I was on someone else's program, and we just packaged it so that we could deliver it for you. And it's an overview of the journey, basically. So that'll come to you very soon, probably tonight when I meet with Ariel, who is my wonderful assistant, online business manager. And you're also going to get a mini workshop, and I'll be delivering that. I'll put that together for you. and it's called Get Right with Your Money. And, money issues always come up when we're changing jobs or we're doing anything new in our life. So this is a way to begin to look at your money in a way that it doesn't create that obstacle. Because a lot of people say, I would if I had the money, if I could, if I was just rich, I could do anything I want. I'd be out there doing a job that I just completely love. So we want to put money in perspective, and I want to give you some really amazing ways of utilizing your resources so that money does not become a barrier for you. So that's going to be coming to you in a separate little mini workshop. And then I'm excited about this one. This is another little mini workshop. I've given all of these live, okay? So these are presentations and workshops I've already done live. So they've been created, and the outcomes have been great from the feedback. But the other one that I really love, it's called How to Create a Life Mission Statement. And you might say, well, I don't even know my life mission. Well, you will by the end of this, by the end of our working together, and you will also be able, and a life mission statement is something that's always evolving. And this is not something that gets us a job. This is not something we put on our resume. It's there, it's to guide you. It's like, when you get lost and you're like, oh my gosh, like why am I even like getting up today? Like what's going on in my life? Like, kind of can be deep stuff. Like, why do I matter? Or going to a job that you really hate. But you say, I must be here for some reason. So the life mission statement is kind of like a neon sign that's going to help you know that even if you feel that you're not even working right now or in a situation where you're, really feeling fulfilled, that you still have a mission, you still have a purpose, you're still just showing up there. You never know who's sitting next to you, who might need that, just that feeling of being near a person who is really moving forward in their life. So the life mission statement is a wonderful workshop, and I'll be delivering that for you as well. And then one more bonus is we're going to have Sandra Clark come, and she is a LinkedIn expert. Now we won't have her come till, towards the end of the course, because this is really the last piece that you do, and you cannot articulate yourself or show up in interviews or craft even a resume or a LinkedIn profile unless you really know what you want to communicate to a potential employer. Because unless you're clear, it's like in the old days, you'd go to a party and you'd say, how are you? And some, oh, I'm fine, but I'm looking for a job. Oh, well, what do you do? Or what are you looking for? Oh, anything, I just want to be, I got my degree and I'm open to anything. Well, that doesn't give the person who wants to help you anything to go on. Nothing pops into their mind when you say anything. And I know that we wouldn't be doing that, but even if you said, I'm looking for a job in the field of education, I mean, that would be so broad that a person might not even know how they could begin to connect you with the doorway that you could walk through to get the job. So we're going to be really doing the LinkedIn piece as the last thing, okay? So that's all I really have to say. I think that, so all of this is confidential. You'll be sent the recording. So, and it's just for our group. The other thing is that, again, Ariel, who is my tech wizard, we'll be setting up a private Facebook group, and you can communicate with each other in there and message each other, but we'll also be, I'll be in there. I'll be very active. So as questions come up, we'll be able to address them right in there. Okay. So that's another thing coming your way. And one more little thing I want to say before we introduce you introduce yourselves is there's a big A and a little a. The big A is the A stands for your big agenda. Your big agenda in life. This is where I come from as your guide here. Your big agenda is to have fulfillment and meaning and balance. Okay, now I don't mean balance where you check the list and say, oh, well, I exercised, I ate right, I visited with my family and friends, and I don't mean that kind of balance. I mean an inner kind of, that you feel that your life is feeling, you're in the flow. Okay, so that kind of balance where we're feeling aligned with ourselves. Okay, so the big agenda is that, right? People join the program because they want to figure out what career, what job, what title, position. But that is your little a. So that's the little a is more of a goal. So we get the big A is really, how you want to live, who you want to be. And then the little a is the goal. And, in Western society and a lot of societies these days, cultures, there's such a focus on the little a that you can achieve all those goals. And at the end of the day, not feel the fulfillment, not feel that there's meaning, and you're out of whack. You don't feel that you're aligned. There's something missing. So that's why we say the big A is your big agenda, and that's the journey that you're on. But the little a is just these markers that we go past and we go, oh, I got the job. Okay, cool. Oh, great. I bought the house, or I have a client who got the job. First she got the job, then she got married, then she had the baby, then she got the house, then she got a new job. These were all goals, right? They were markers. But that's the little a. The big A is, are you leading a life of, joy, basically, something that is bringing you a sense of fulfillment. So that's sort of the intro here for you. And so I have a few more basics, but let's do some introductions. And what I'd like you to do is, as we go around, I just want you to just say your name and like where you're at now, just really briefly, like if you're in a job and you can't wait to get out to something else. And, obviously we know maybe your goal, maybe everybody has different goals, but the goal of the program is to get the clarity and the confidence. So if you do have a very specific intention and you say, well, I came to this course because, I'd love to hear that as well. So just real briefly, your name, where you're at now, and your intention for being in the course. So let's start with, we can't start with my friend over in that square there because she's on silent. Let's start with Lauren. Lauren, can you unmute yourself or do I have to unmute? Oh, there you go.
Yep, I'm unmuted.
Great. So why don't you start with little mini intro and your intention?
Sure. So I am my job, my dream job, and now I'm sleeping. And I really want to feel fulfilled again.
You know what? I'm going to stop you. I'm having trouble hearing. Is anybody else having trouble? Okay. Yeah. So it's a little like blotchy.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, that's great.
Okay. Just moving the laptop an inch. Okay. So really quickly, again, my name's Lauren. I am here to get my purpose and passion back and hopefully the paycheck. In that order: passion, purpose, and then paycheck. My current position used to be my dream job, and I felt all three of those things. And now it's my worst nightmare because of a new manager. And I won't get into specifics, but I've come to realize I don't even love what I do anymore. It's not even beyond the manager. It's just, maybe it's ruined for me because of this bad experience. I don't know. But I really want to find what my zone of genius is, because I'm not sure if I'm in that right now. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm not. So I'm excited to meet you all and kind of discover things together. And did I miss anything in the introduction?
That's perfect. That's perfect. Great intention. I love it. You're going to get into your zone of genius. Find out what that is. Great. Thank you. And let's go with Georgina next. Are you able to share a little bit?
Hi, yeah, I'm Georgina, and I'm currently in a position that I'm much happier with than I thought I could be. And I've been working with Patrice for a little bit. And when I first came to her, I was at the end of my rope, and I was completely frustrated and in a job that I'm like, I'm going to have to just quit immediately, and I don't know where to go. So I enlisted Patrice's help, which has been tremendous. And while I didn't change companies, which is really interesting because I've been always looking like I need to get out of this company. I just need to go. I actually transitioned into the position I have now, which is really helped me build my confidence and believe in myself, which is a role I've always wanted and didn't think I was going to be able to have because I don't have a PhD behind my name. And so I'm in a happier place. But when Patrice talks about the full alignment, I don't feel like I'm fully expressing myself and having that fully expressed life. So I am still working towards having that and having that complete joy, because I think it is about our whole lives and not, and unfortunately or fortunately, most of our lives are consumed with what we do and how we do it. But I'm really looking for that fully expressed life. And so I really feel like I have more to do and more to give, and that I can have an impact truly on my community. And that's what I'm looking for. So, and hope maybe changing jobs again. I don't know what it's going to look like. So
That's great. So your big agenda is fully expressed. That's your big one. All right. Beautiful. And Tanya, are you ready to share? You need to unmute. There you
I unmuted. Hi, everyone. My name's Tanya Sahai. I'm based in California. I don't know where everyone else is, but in San Francisco for now. I'm currently unemployed. I got laid off a few months ago, and I was waiting to be laid off since last year. I've been working at this company for about 3 years, and I joke with my husband that my disdain shows because I don't have a poker face. I think for me, even when I went back in 2014, like 6 years ago, I took some time off. I actually quit my job to take some time off to find my career. And then I kind of navigated and went back to like another job. And I'm really passionate about wanting to make a difference in cooking and food. And at some point I was thinking about hunger. And one of the reasons, I always gravitate towards things around food, but my background is in technology and analytics. So I have an undergrad, like kind of what my ethnic background is Indians. I have an undergrad in computer science and a master's in business. So I always get jobs that correlate to my background, but it's not really what I want to do. And so I found this course would be interesting because I do think I know what my passion is, and can I transition that into finally a purpose or finding the right opportunity for me that will ultimately lead to a paycheck. So that's why I'm in this session, or I joined this course.
Oh, welcome, Tanya. I'm excited for you because you do have a clue. You have a clue. And now it's just how do you put it together and translate it to the people who need it.
Exactly. Like in science speak, I have a hypothesis of what I think I want, and who knows if it's right or wrong. Maybe I'll change along the way.
Welcome,
Thank you.
Welcome. And Anne, you're next.
Well, I come from a really different spot than the rest of you. I have a disability from tick-borne illnesses, and I'm on disability and have been for years, and I want to focus on improving my health to the best point I can And then maybe I can return to some joyful work part-time, or maybe I'll just be able to do more enjoyable things. And I think Patrice's program, working with the unconscious and conscious mind, can help me make those changes and give myself the time to do it, because I always feel that there's way more needs in my household, and I have chronic fatigue. So I fulfill those needs, which aren't mine, and I need to focus on, restoring my health and energy so that I can have a life and I can do what I need to for the people that depend on me.
Fantastic. And full disclosure, we're related.
We are.
So Anne is my
Now,
sister.
yeah.
Anne is my younger sister. I've always looked up to Anne. I just want to toot her horn. She has multiple degrees and JD, and has done tremendous work in the world. And maybe related to Tanya, she has been out there helping the needy. Was really quite well known in a segment of law, food stamp law, years ago. So, and I'm so happy to have you here.
Well,
You're
thank
welcome.
you. And
I might bug you about some ideas I have in the personal Facebook about EBTs and how, yeah, anyway.
I'll be bugging you folks too. I will say that my achievements were all done in my later 20s, before I got these tick-borne illnesses. They've really devastated my abilities.
And you're still here, and you're still doing amazing things in the world. So thank you. Now, I wonder if Krista, if there's anything you could type into the chat, maybe. And so the microphone is broken, and I promise that I will figure out how to, even under my security. Let's see if my security, no, it doesn't really show anything. Sometimes under security, it shows you like the other data that could be available, but I don't see it. So if you have anything that you want to put into the chat about where you are and your intention in the program. All right, now what we see here is, I'll read it out loud, is I'm Krista using Gianna, right? You're using her. So I'm going to bring that up. Okay. So Krista, I'm a stay-at-home mom for over 20 years. I came to the program to find my best path for re-entering the workforce and making some big life decisions. And I hope you don't mind me saying that not only is Krista a stay-at-home mom, she has 8 children. So she has been very busy, and just this big span. I think your youngest is 11. Is that correct? Something around that. Yeah. And the oldest is 27, if I'm remembering correctly. So excited to have you here, Krista. And I think this is going to be a really wonderful journey for you as well. So with that, I want to share with you just some of the ways that to be successful in the program. So in module 1, I give 5, basically there, I'm not going to go over them because you can listen to them, but there's 5 pieces. There's 5 foundational pieces. Having done the research in my own life and looked at outside of traditional psychology. I looked at sports psychology, actually, and sports psychology is much older than positive psychology. It's from the late 1800s, as a matter of fact, where they were having, sports people begin to visualize, and they noticed that, there were different things happening in an athlete's performance when they did certain things before an event. So I had to go all the way back and dig up some really interesting things. But at any rate, there's 5 main things that I have in the course, and I may touch on them today, but it's in the first module. But I want to add some other things that are going to help you be super successful with the course and with our work together. So these are some frames that I guess, 5 frames in terms of our group that are going to help you. So show up. That's got to be like number one, right? So you need to show up. And if you show up, that's just really the beginning. And, it's a lot of it, because even, learning is an active thing. Your unconscious mind is absorbing just by you showing up, right? And we'll talk about the conscious and the unconscious. The conscious mind can only pay attention to 7 plus or minus 2 bits of information at one time. So anything else that, you're hearing a lot today, it's being absorbed, okay? And your unconscious mind decides how valuable it is and then organizes it for you. And we'll get into a lot more about how it does that and why it's important to know about the process of absorbing information and learning, and how it categorizes the information for you. Because there's some areas that are what we call your hot buttons, or your, they're charged up areas. And what they're going to be important in tapping into that. So the unconscious mind is taking information in all the time, started, when you were probably in the womb, and it started that process, and it is absorbing so much, and there's a lot of resources in there. So we'll be talking about that, but your job as a learner is really to show up. And then, the doing part, obviously there are going to be actions. So in the coaching world, if you've ever had a coach, there's 2 pieces to the coaching, and that is you're learning, or let's say you're deepening your learning, okay? Because there's really nothing new under the sun. I'm going to say some things that maybe you haven't heard them said this way, but you're going to deepen your learning, take it in at a deeper level, and forward the action. So there's 2 phases to this process. You learn, you take action. Now the action is a feedback loop, we call that, because it gives you now more data. You now have the information. Oh, do I want to keep going down or doing that? What was the result, right? Or do I want to, tweak that or go a different way? So there's those 2 pieces are going to be the core, really, of this journey. Okay, so showing up and learning, deepening the learning, and then forwarding the action, and you'll always get feedback from every action that you take. And I will cite module number 1 in that I do believe the first principle that I talk about, principle of success, is there's no failure, there's only feedback. So we found out that, athletes and people at the high performance level, instead of spending a long time regretting the action that they took or the action that they didn't take, instead of spending a lot of energy on that, they use that, right? They use that as feedback. Okay, I hit the serve that way. I have to follow through, or whatever they needed to do. They didn't drop out of the game, right? Now, if they didn't want to continue in that, they could drop out and do something else. That's not a failure. It's feedback. So there's no failure. There's only feedback. So if we can all adopt that, then we're going to be a lot better on this journey. It's going to feel better. Okay. So the other thing that I want you to know is ask for help. So I, have an email address, and you can, I'm also working on having more balance in my life. So I try to keep my office hours basically between Monday and Friday at noon. I'm not working with emergency clients anymore. So if you have something that you need to ask me, you can email me. And again, I'll be in the Facebook group. Okay. But ask for help. start to work with each other. That's why we're in a group. Okay. And my goal really is to encourage more of the people who are coming to me privately. I have a private practice, and people, oh no, I want you privately. But they don't realize that, there's such energy and strength in the community. And that also it's been shown through the research as well, that people, even if you're sitting back and hearing somebody else ask a question, you learn. Okay. And they say that, you're asking the question for all the other unconscious minds in the room, right? That question was in there, but it didn't come maybe. And they, oh yeah, I need that answer too. Okay. So ask for help and participate. We also, progress, not perfection. So there are going to be things that I'm going to ask you to do. And again, there's no winning or losing here. There's just progress. Okay. And baby steps. Okay. This is a process where you're going to be taking small steps. And here's something that I think when I'll give you the 5 steps to pivot to a career you love. I shared a bonus tip when I went on and did that course, did a little mini seminar. I said that there's something called psychological momentum. And psychological momentum is every time you take a little step, you internally give yourself that validation. Good job, keep going, at least you showed up. You're saying something, positive to yourself, something affirmative, affirming yourself each time you do something. And in sports psychology and high performers, they found out that the people who keep going and rise to the highest levels have this psychological momentum. And so you don't know what they're doing in their head, right? But that's what they're doing. They're going, yeah, got it, that time, instead of, all the stuff that we say to ourselves, So psychological momentum is based on small steps. So we don't wait to celebrate, oh my gosh, I got to the end of this course and I found the career I love, whatever. No, we're celebrating. I showed up for the first call. Yeah. Or I introduced myself, or whatever it is. So we celebrate these little tiny baby steps. And when you do that internally, it does create this chemical reaction in you that allows you to have the energy. So if you say, oh, why do I'm not energized. I don't have energy. I'm exhausted. Well, I'm not a doctor. Okay. But we do know that every time we're communicating we're telling our unconscious mind what we want every moment. Our conscious mind is telling it like, go forward or go back. And the unconscious mind wants to please you. So to the extent that you say, good job, you just did a little something and you give yourself a thumbs up or a pat on the back. I used to be a checklist person and I felt so, I would make the list at the end of the day, all the things I did. I didn't even make it at the beginning of the day, but I was like, I need to feel good, because I'm all by myself. So I'd make a list. What did I do? And then I'd check it off. And that I do know that my own experience is that I could feel a difference in myself. So we do know that to the extent that we are affirming ourselves, there is a neurological reaction that happens. So baby steps. And I don't really even think I have to say this to you, but just respect others. So here's something that I learned is that everybody has. I was in a course once. Actually, I was in a job once, and the sort of head person came from headquarters, right? And she was in charge of like the whole, all these, places all over the East Coast. So she was like the big the big cheese. And she said, and we were sitting in a meeting and she asked everybody to share something. And she said, and she wanted our feedback on what was happening in this program. And she said, you know, I want everybody to share something because everybody has a slice of the truth. Everybody has a slice of the truth. So you'll hear in module 1 where I say that one of the things that keeps us from going forward is tunnel vision, right? Sometimes we need tunnel vision because it'll zero us in on where we want to go. But if we're stuck and we're in tunnel vision and we're holding on to something, we can't see these other slivers of the truth out here. So, you know, in our Facebook group, we've had really good luck, the one we're in now, but we're going to go to the private one. And Tanya, I'll get you into the one we're in now because it's just a regular one for everybody. Yeah, but we'll be in the private group. So it's really just about whatever opinion anybody else has, we're going to respect it, and we don't have to agree with it. But I love that idea that, that's the truth for them, right? So if someone sees it that way, or you might see someone taking an action and think, well, that's not the right action or whatever, we just want to respect that everybody has a slice of the truth. I love that way of thinking. All right, so good. We're doing really well on time. I want to open it up right now to questions and anything that has come up so far, or even things that, you know, down the line you're wondering about. So I want to open it up and just raise your hand or just start when you have a question. There's Lauren. Come on, Lauren, you have a question. Question number 1.
I do want to just say I want to definitely be here. I only have 10 minutes left. I have a very strict half-hour lunch break, and I'm kind of going over a little bit like my break time. But I just want to know, is there anything else besides the modules that I should be doing? I mean, attending class, of course, but I saw the modules and I've been watching the video.
Not right now. You don't have to do anything. And there are some downloads, in the modules. Okay. So the other thing I did not mention is there's going to be a certain point where you will have private work with me. And many of the people here were in the master class. And in the master class, we talked about the operating system, like it's the behind the scenes, right? And we just used the metaphor of the computer operating system that when things are not going well with the computer, like I have the geek squad, and they go into the operating system and they update things for me. And I don't even have to know what they're doing. I just want it to work. So you're going to have private time where I'm going to do something that I only take my private clients through, my sort of top tier clients, but you're going to have a VIP session with me. And that VIP session is going to be 2 hours long. Now you will have done all the work so that when we get, you'll have all the foundational pieces. And when you come to that session, we'll be able to move through and do the work on what, again, I call your invisible blueprint, the thing that your life has been built on. And if you look at your life and you're not 100% thrilled about it, we need to just tweak that blueprint, right? So, and really it's because of the things, the tools I've searched for, you will not believe how, if we get the one little thing we need to tweak, if we tap at the right spot, the system starts to hum. Okay. So this is not a big, long, we have to look at every little thing that is in that blueprint. And nothing to worry about the blueprint. Okay. It's just stored information about you and your beliefs and how you've been running your life and all the things that you've learned from other people and the things that are keeping you from even seeing all of your options. Okay. And so we've made decisions based on stuff that was handed to us. In fact, I told the story. I was talking to 2 young women who we gave a scholarship to for to study overseas, and they're going to go and study peace studies. And I thought, well, this is interesting. How these two young women, they both are interested in the Middle East, and I was wondering, that's odd, like I'm just interested. And so I said to them, I raised my hand, and we had given them the scholarship. It's a master's degree scholarship, an advanced degree, and they'll go to England to study. But I said to them, well, it's really interesting that you both, have chosen the Middle East studies and peace and conflict. And I said, I study values, and by the age of 10, 8 and 10, our value system pretty much gets locked in. So whatever was happening in your life, and they said 9/11 happened in their life. One was 6, I think, and one was 8. Okay. So that was a significant emotional experience, and it opened up this, they don't know where it comes from, but I do, because they had an emotional experience in their own self. So when you're 6 and 8 and 10, the things that happen to you really take on a charge. And so what we'll be doing in the private work is just looking at the thing that, just the one or two things that need to be tweaked that open up your new blueprint. Okay. And thank you for being here. I know you're on a tight schedule. So I think that's really, the most important information I wanted to give. And any other questions from anyone else, or comments or anything? And Krista, feel free to type into the chat if you have anything. I always say questions.
Well, I had a similar question. Is like, what else should I be doing? Because I read, and I think one of the things that I thought was interesting when I went through the module, and I guess I'll be patient, is the vision. So for me, I do struggle with, people always ask me, what do you like to do? Like, close your eyes. And so hopefully that's something, we'll walk through. But because I like so many things, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to take this course. I always struggle with that. Like, what is the one thing? And maybe the answer is there isn't. So I just wanted to put that comment out there, because one of my questions was what Lauren already asked, is like, what else do we need to do? And I think for module 2, it says you have to wait till 11/23. So between now and next week, I guess we don't do anything, or
I'm going to be sending you the overview. Okay. So you're going to get the 5 steps to pivot. And listen, if I think of extra things, homework to give, I will, but just know that you're on the right schedule. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Let me also talk about the vision. So this is what's different about this course. So in coaching, we talk about being, doing, having. Okay. So the vision is a being. I'm looking out there at my future beingness, if I could use that word. Okay. So what am I being? I'm being fulfilled, or I'm being happy, or I'm being energized, or I'm being helpful, or, I'm just being this person who feels that they get up and they have a purpose and a meaning. So that's the vision. So, and this is why you get stuck, because we're always trying to go into more detail, and we don't have the being part down yet. And it's just common, human nature to do that. We want to see the concrete first, but we need to go into this being state first and think about what's that like first. Okay. And you'll have a lot of help getting there. So let me just end with a quote from Rosabeth Moth Cantor, and she leads, I think, the Harvard Leadership MBA program. I know she's Harvard professor, and I think it's the leadership development for the MBA. But anyway, she says this, and so this is somebody, all about spreadsheets, right? I mean, she's more than that, but she says a vision is a call to become your better self. So this is about the better self. So when we do our visioning and we do there are many ways to do a compelling future vision. I'm going to take you through my flavor, okay? But there's other ways. But the compelling future vision is, who am I being? Okay. And this is the better self that you are going toward. So I hope that is useful to you. Yeah, I think that's the quote I want to leave you with. And feel free to email me with questions. I am meeting with my assistant tonight, so look for the recording of the 5 steps to pivot a little bit later. She lives in the Philippines, so we don't meet till later in the night, and then she does the work for me. And you'll be meeting Ariel in the group, because she's going to set up our private Facebook group. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful. I am so excited. We will meet next Wednesday, and again, these are recorded. So I'm going to find out from Ariel tonight how we'll store the recordings and how we'll deliver them to you. So stay tuned I have some homework to do. Okay, but you just have to stay with the modules and email me if you have questions.